Alright, welcome to MyMathYourMath. Today we're going to do a geometry proof, and the problem that we have is, given this figure, if line BC bisects the segment BC bisects the segment AD, and vice versa, if AD also bisects the segment BC, we're going to show that the triangle AMB is congruent to the triangle CMD. Alright, first things first, our statement and our reason for the very first one is typically going to be the given. So the statement is that BC bisects segment AD, and this is by given. So if we look over here, if BC cuts this line in half, well, that means that AM is congruent to MD, okay? So we're going to put little congruent lines here. The little tick marks just mean that AM is congruent to MD. So AM is congruent to MD, and this is because definition of bisector, we will say. Definition of segment bisector. All right. And then, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and just throw one more in there. Some people like to call the next one a new step. It'll be number 3, but we're going to go ahead and say that BM is congruent to MC. And it's by the same reason. Okay, so BM is congruent to MC, again, by the fact that we have an angle bisector, namely AD sorry, I don't know why I said angle, I meant to say line segment bisector. All right. Number 3. All right. So number 3 is something we're going to have to use ourselves. Just from, prior knowledge of angles and things like that, we know that angle CMD and angle AMB are congruent because they are vertical angles. So angle, what is it? AMB is congruent to angle CMD. Okay? And this is by vertical angles are congruent. And I will post a link in the description that has a link to all the different geometry theorems and postulates and facts and formulas and things like that. So vertical angles are congruent. And fourth and last step, I'm going to go ahead and just say that triangle AMB is congruent to triangle CMD. And this is, if you notice here, we have a side, an angle, and a side that correspond to a side, an angle, and a side. And there is a theorem in geometry that tells us that if you have corresponding side angle sides that are the same, then those triangles are the same. And it's called the side angle side theorem or something like that. And we will abbreviate it with SAS, and we are done. The triangles are congruent at the end by SAS.